Will I have some space? Hello. Ari has a very important message for you today. I wanted to share a very important message today with you about leaving past hurts behind, moving on from things that left us feeling a certain way that wasn't very beneficial for us. Because I'm reading this book, The Mutant Message Down Under, right now. That was a Christmas present from Petra. And it's about an American woman that went to an Aboriginal tribe in Australia, and she was wandering with them through the outback, through the desert for 3 months. And there was an incident when one of those Aboriginal people had an accident and he broke his leg. And the American woman was witnessing how they were healing him the same day, how they treated him. And the next day he was fine, he was walking, he didn't have any pain or problems. And then one of those Aboriginal people gave a very important message to her, and that's what I wanted to read for you. So the female healer, the Aborigine, asked, "Do you understand how long forever is?" "Yes," I said. "I understand." "Are you certain?" "Yes, I understand," I repeated. "Then we can tell you something else. All humans are spirits only visiting this world. All spirits are forever beings. All encounters with other people are experiences, and all experiences are forever connections. Real people," the Aborigines call themselves the real people close the circle of each experience. We do not leave ends frayed as mutants do. Mutants they consider as all the people that live our modern lifestyle, the Western civilization. If you walk away with bad feelings in your heart for another person and that circle is not closed, it will be repeated later in your life. You will not suffer once, but over and over until you learn. It is good to observe, to learn, and become wiser from that what has happened. It is good to give thanks, as you say, to bless it, and walk away in peace. This message reminded me of a situation when I was working in a hotel that was very new. They just established their presence and they had a small team of receptionists, and I was going to work there also as a receptionist. And they didn't really know how it works, how it's supposed to be done, and I came from experience of another luxurious, well-established hotel, so I knew how things run smoothly. And when I came there to that new hotel and I started to give them all this input and feedback, how we can improve everything, and we made a lot of changes very quickly, the team started to really resent me. They didn't like working with me, and I could feel it all the time, and I started to really feel drained by this experience to go to work there. And I had to say to myself, I wanted to leave. I didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to move on, go to another job, because this is not good for me. But then I had this moment where I said, no, wait. I learned that if I would just leave now with this discomfort and this anger I had towards them for being resented, if I would go away with this feeling and then move into the next job, I would have exactly the same experience again. So I didn't want to repeat the circle again. So I said to myself, I'm going to stay here as long as it takes until I can leave actually with a feeling of peace, not escaping it, but actually, I'm good, I'm fine here. I can work here, I'm good, I'm happy, but now I want to move on to something else. And the circle is closed. So I was working there for maybe half more year until I could turn it around, that we could speak it out with the team, and we could actually have a very harmonious cooperation together, and it was really fun to work with them. And then I decided to quit the job and move on to something else. So that was an example where I was able to really close a circle and then not repeat it later again in life.
Then I was asking Raphael, okay, that sounds amazing, but what if your loved one dies? What if your partner leaves you and says nothing, like it happened to me? He just left and he said nothing to me. I knew why he left because he felt very, very embarrassed. And most of the time, it's not mostly about you, but it's about the other people's process in their head, which you don't see and which you don't communicate probably. So if this happens, what Raphael could answer.
People always say they want closure, especially after a breakup. They say, I never got closure from that person, never got closure from that relationship, because, like Petra said, Maybe that person just ghosted you and just disappeared and never even told you what's happening, and you're left there wondering, what did I do wrong? What do I need to learn from this? What can I do differently next time? Do we still have a chance? Did something happen to that person? You want closure, and you're carrying this feeling of unknowingness, of wondering and disappointment with you for many, many years. Then you go into a new relationship and you still have that experience with you. You still didn't close that circle. It's still open. If that ex would all of a sudden turn up again and say, hey, you know what, I really love you, I would like to come back with you, you could be confused. So what we want to do is to close that circle. And in case of death, I feel that it is something that, we are not dependent on the other person to give closure to us. We can give it to ourselves, because it's only about our emotions and our inner state. So it's something that we can do consciously ourselves, whether we do this with writing a letter to that person that we never send, or we just speak to the universe, to the divine, or we just allow ourselves, hey, it's okay, I let it go. We just tell ourselves, I let it go, I close the circle. I think only just visualizing that you're closing this circle, and then you move on and you walk away from it and you're fine. You don't have this resentment, you don't carry any more feelings attached to that circle. Mm-hmm. It's a finished, a whole complete experience. Mm-hmm. And that gives you room and space in your heart for the next experience.
Mm-hmm. Just to get back to the breakups, I actually had this happening to me that in like 1.5 to 2 years after that, I gave me enough time to go through this experience and figure everything out sort of with the tools I had back in the days. What happened to me was that when I fell in love with new person, which was my partner for 6 years before, I received a message from my ex-partner: I never loved anybody more than you. From nowhere, I received that message in my phone. And this could be a confirmation for you too. Like, it could make you confused. Like Raphael said, if you receive it like in a year or half year, it's still kind of fresh. But it was already super over. It was already closed for myself. And, I already went through all of these emotions and ups and downs for a few times over and over. So I knew that I'm done with that, and I have it absolutely closed in me. But anyways, the message, the confirmation came,
And you had in this moment, like, you felt that nothing much changed in your internal state?
Absolutely, it was absolutely...
There was no confusion
Yeah, it
oh,
was
what is
absolutely different life. And I was like, yeah, it's a pity that this person always needs something which can't have. Because that's the program of the person, right?
Obviously, that person had the circle still open. That person didn't close it, couldn't move on from it.
Maybe.
That's why after so many years, when the other one has moved on, they come back and say, hey, you know what, I actually never loved anyone more than you. Do we still have a chance?
I think it's like more what I feel from it. It's like how to outwit the devil. The devil still tries to confuse you, to shake you. You have to be really sure that you're following your heart, you're in the right spot, in the right place, and it's absolutely truth for you, for your heart. And if you are having that, you just go and you don't look left and right. You don't look in the back, in the past. You just learn from it, you become stronger, and you become wiser, of course. And you would never do that again, and you can talk about it in a YouTube video, for example. Yeah. So this is extremely important, I think, the finishing these loops, because, for example, with my grandmother, she was absolutely fine, and she then stayed in the hospital, and she transitioned, and I didn't have a chance to even notice that she transitioned. I didn't sit by her bed. It's very bad. If you can have your loved one close to you when they are transitioning, it's extremely important. In the past, here in my country, the whole village went to say goodbye to a person when they transitioned, when
That's
they
why we have
died.
funerals.
Yeah, but also they marched through the whole village and they kind of like said, and it was like a big like ritual for everybody that this person is now like not existing in the body anymore, and it's very important for people to do this. Yeah.
The grieving process. And I forgot to say one thing. I was telling you that one of those Aboriginal people broke their leg, and after one day he was walking again, but nobody of these Aborigines was talking about the experience, about the accident. It wasn't a topic for them anymore. It wasn't like, oh, how are you doing today? Is it better or worse? No, it was just over, and they kept moving on, marching on. That experience was finished. And the same way they do it with beautiful things. When children play with a toy and then there comes a smaller child and takes that toy away, the older child doesn't start to fight with the smaller one and say, hey, I want to have it now, it's my time. They don't fight. He just lets it go, and he knows, I stored that memory of having this joy with this toy, this experience. I stored this memory within me. And now that other child can start to have fun with it. They know they have the memory stored in themselves. It is closed. I'm no longer gonna fight for it. I'm gonna move on, and somebody else can enjoy it.
And I want to encourage in you that it's very worthy for you, for your soul, to focus on storing good memories. When my dog Luna died, we remembered in love everything, and we were super grateful for everything what happened with her, and the whole process was divine, you know, from beginning to end. And my friend, my mother's girlfriend, she's over 65 years, and she had a dog. And the only thing which she remembers is what she did wrong about the last few weeks of his life. And she had that dog for 12 or 13 years, but she remembers only what she did wrong for. And every time her dog's name comes up, she always only repeats these few informations. So she's making it stronger, she's making it absolutely alive all the time. She can't access the beautiful memories with her dog. She just remembers how she screwed up, how she did something wrong. But in that moment, she did everything the right way, and she could be mad at herself that she did it the other way. You know what I mean?
And every time she thinks of her dog, or somebody reminds her of her dog, Ari, come here. Every time she thinks of her dog, of course she will have this feeling of, oh, I didn't do well, and it's still like this open circle. All these other beautiful experiences become irrelevant because the circle wasn't closed. We have 2 dogs for a visit again. Emmy. So we are curious what your experience was with this. Do you remember a situation in your life where you closed the circle really well? Because it would be a great idea to remember this and acknowledge it. Wow, actually there I did it really well. And then you can maybe think of something where you didn't close it very well and just do it within you. You don't need to wait for somebody else to give you permission. It is all happening within us. That's the beauty about this. And if somebody else doesn't have closure from you enough, you can help them if you want to, if you have a feeling like a need to do that, but it's still in the other person's responsibility. You can give somebody closure, but that person can still decide to keep the loop open.
But as I said, the friend who is still remembering the negatives about the dog could still do something wrong. From her perspective, now it would be right, but she would do it the other way and she would still feel guilty. So the guilt or some emotions could be tied to this experience, and you are still keeping yourself in guilt and shame, or, you know, powerlessness and stuff like that. And you don't have to really use this to tie you to that experience as well. You can also look at the emotions which are feeding off your unsuccessful behavior in the past. So free yourself from this too.
It's really beautiful. I love these kind of books that teach you things about life or remind you about things about life that are written in stories. I really, these books are just my favorite. And of course, I want to share it with you all then. I learned something nice. Thank you so much for being with us today. Don't ever forget that you're unlimited. And if you would like to share some more time with us, we also have this video for you next.